Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hope you're doing well. So, when we hear a lot of these girls who are selling their bodies to pimps, a common theme between them is that their parents got divorced. So, this made me realize how important it is, as we already know, really, that a man and a woman need to make sure that they're suitable to get married. And when they do get married, they work their best to stay together and tough it out through thick and thin, and to do what's best for their children. And if they want a divorce, they can wait till, I would say, you're older, when your kids are grown, where it doesn't affect them as much. Now, what I find interesting is that some of these pimps and pimptresses, it's almost like their satanic, demonic energy, their evilness that's reaping out of their flesh, knows to head for the broken homes. Okay? They know who to prey upon, and I think as well that they get off satanically when they go to a girl who had a good home and flip her to the streets, because she still has this light in her that the evil, perverted customers want to sap out of her. It's almost like a vampiric relationship, because there are women who you can see they're like, there's no light in them anymore. They put all that makeup on, but they still feel dusty. They still feel decrepit. Sticky. They don't have a good energy to them, even if they have all the makeup and hair extensions, or fake nails, or all the plastic additions through surgery and whatnot. They don't feel right. But then you can get around a girl who's a plain Jane, a real Southern belle, and she's just got a smile for days, and she's kind, and she's respectful, she's honorable, and you feel refreshed when you get around someone like that. And for a pimp and the pimptresses, they want the most pretty ones among them and the most obedient. And sometimes pretty girls from happy homes, they can be a bit naive because their parents didn't warn them against the evil, so they're a bit unprepared. Okay? And so when an experienced groomer, male or female, comes about, they have to use a little bit more effort and tactics to convince this girl to go against her nature and to dishonor herself, dishonor her family, and to earn hellfire, and to go against God's law. Pimps encourage women to go against God's law. A pimp literally leads women to hell. And then the pimp laughs at her. He thinks she's the scum of the earth. He may not say that to her face, because obviously she would leave. He's got to manipulate her, coerce her, groom her, gaslight her. He's got to use all the stops in order to get her to stay. But when those pimps are gathered around, enjoying their money, enjoying their lifestyle, they all have, most of them, great wives who turn a blind eye, unfortunately, which makes their morality not good, but their chastity, right, is more intact. They mock the women whom they sell. Alright? And it's a very interesting paradox, because some young women think that they have to be a sex icon in order to get a good husband, when in reality it's quite the opposite. And so when you have a pimp who knows the truth, who knows that men don't want women like that, but he turns out, flips a good girl to be a jizz rag for customers, he's done something so evil that it's heartbreaking when you examine it. A pimp and a pimptress have taken someone's beautiful baby girl and turned them into a depraved human being who has a broken morality. So many women become broken from that lifestyle. They really suffer with regret, loneliness later on, diseases. They don't really have the same ability to have a companion because they get tired of men, because their image of men has been distorted, because they've seen the darker side of men and they have not been able to attract good men. So their perspective is dysfunctional, it's broken. And then some of those women turn around and become rabid feminists. So the pimps, they know how to break a bitch, as they say. They know how to get inside the mind and make you hate yourself, so much so that you willingly, with a smile, would let a stranger penetrate you. Or you would penetrate yourself with some stupid plastic toy on a camera for a weirdo so he can touch himself. Think about how gross that is. Think about how nasty a pimp is to tell a girl, put this in your anus, and then film it so that strangers on the internet can put their hands in their pants and squirt behind their wife's back. Think about how dirty that is. And think about how many of these pimps and pimptresses utilize alcohol and drugs in order to get it done. It's really sad. Somebody's daughter just ruining her reputation, her honor. Think about how you're a mom and you give birth to your beautiful baby, and then a pimp comes along later on and just turns her to that path. All the nights you stood up breastfeeding, all the nights you turned up changing diapers, and some evil cocksucker who's a pimp piece of shit comes along and just makes her into something that is horrid. That is truly evil. It is. Pimps and pimptresses are a face of evil that do not get talked about enough. Okay? And what's even more sad as well is that women claim like, oh, men are pigs, men are this, men are that. But you don't see a lot of these feminists calling out these female groomers, right? These female pimp women who go to good girls and convince them to be immodest, to use drugs. It's just heartbreaking because it proves there is no sisterhood. It doesn't exist. Okay? And for a woman to knowingly take someone's child and convince them to do something that would make their mother cry, would make their father lower his head in deep, anguishing shame. And then to do it with a smile and make videos and think that everything's gonna be okay because you get to go shopping. Trading your honor for a credit card. Trading your honor for a debit card. How retarded. How depraved. Are there not any people who can see how the tactics of the pimps and pimptresses penetrate the minds of these youth and how we have to fight against it in all forms? How quickly do some women desire to be approved of by a pimp? It's quite sad. You have to seek approval from those who deserve you to even be around them. Hold yourself in higher regard. Hold yourself to a higher standard. Don't sit there and think that you have to make excuses for why you don't have to help somebody out of a rut. We have to help people stay married. We have to help people get married. We have to help make marriage something real again. Because pimps prey upon divorcee kids. They prey upon everyone because they're demons from hell. And when they get pushed into the flames, that'll be so justified. But The more the parents are united upon one path and work in unison to guard and protect their sons and daughters from groomers, from pimps, from pintresses, from the brothel industry, the better it will be. Sisters looking out for sisters, brothers looking out for brothers. All pimps should be shunned from society. They should be exiled. They should be put in death row on capital punishment. It's quite sad. It's quite sad. And there are more glamorous forms of pimps. They come in all shades of personality. All of them are evil, and all of them we must fight against. And we can never let one under your wing. Never let your guard down. Because as soon as you let your guard down, that's when the snake crawls into the basket. It's quite sad. If you know someone who is a victim of human trafficking, or is being groomed, or is about to enter into OnlyFans, or join a strip club, something like that, do your best to just give them solid advice. Pray for them, make dua for them, and help the police to catch those doing it. California made it legal to loiter for prostitution. So a police officer can no longer question someone loitering, because that would be not allowed. They can't. So basically, they say we didn't legalize prostitution, we just decriminalized loitering for it. The satanic loopholes, the workarounds. So we're seeing more prostitution openly, and liberals adore it because they say it's the oldest profession, and they like hedonism. But if we do our best to inspire people to go on a better path, this can add a dent to their profit margins. Because those who peddle in flesh are of very evil standing. And we must not stand with those who make men and women act in the most debased way. May Allah safeguard us and protect us.